It is that time I exposed the darkest villains in The Incredibles, because after seeing the NSA file leaks, I have to show y'all
Gamma Jack. Gamma Jack. Threat level 7.9. A pillar of power during the glory days. The only super who stood shoulder to shoulder with Mr. Incredible and GAZERBEAM.
So the movie starts off with our dog Mr. Incredible doing an interview talking about how every superhero has their secret identity. You know, we have our Bruce Waynes and Peter Parkers. We can't have the pressure of being a hero 24/7 in our lives. Hey, all I'm saying is, do you ever see me and Spider-Man in the same room together at the same time? Yeah, I didn't think so. I could be one of y'all favorite protagonists and you'll never know. But then we see my girl Elastigirl, and she has a cover for her identity as well, cause she goes to the supermarket wearing a disguise, which is pretty understandable, I guess. But then we get her homie Frozone, and he's a chill dude, I can't even lie. He doesn't like when women hide their superpowers from him, cause Frozone wants to know who he's dating, which is respectable. I know he's rocking the coldest fade known to mankind under that mask of his. But regardless of their differences in their superhero lives, someone has to save the world somehow, and it's... So the scene rolls off with a hot police chase in pursuit. This bootleg Mr. Clean pulls out his Warzone class and he gets to firing away his gun at the police like he's Rambo. Except he's missing every shot that he takes, like some of y'all with the ladies.
Big fella!
We have a deadly high-speed pursuit between police and this bald dude who looks like The Rock. Armed gunman is traveling north on San Pablo Avenue. And that was all Mr. Incredible needed to hear. He started cheesing. I know that superhero salary is mad good, as Brody puts the whip into autopilot like he's driving a Tesla. And he transforms into his clean fighting suit. Bro really had the drip on command. Miles Morales needs to take notes. But Mr. Incredible activates sport mode and starts blasting off in his car like he's Dominic Toretto, straight whipping that thing at 200 miles per hour. But Mr. Incredible pulls up on this old lady who needs some assistance. My cat is stuck in the tree and my little cupcake won't come down. Like, y'all really be giving anything cute animal names nowadays. Them cats really got claws like Mufasa, because this thing won't come off the tree as Mr. Incredible violently starts shaking it like a bag of Skittles. But then Buddy finally lets go of this tree, but then Mr. Incredible swings this tree back, hitting this car which the bank robber was trying to get away in. Buddy just got 15 broken bones over a pile of cash, which is much more than his hairline can fix. Bro was really rocking the Vegeta. Barber did him mad dirty. Thank you, Mr. Incredible. You're the best. Can I get an autograph? Hey, I appreciate y'all, but you guys down for some Dunkin' Donuts?
Alert! Alert! We have a tour bus robbery nearby.
And so Mr. Incredible gets back in his car until we see this random little kid chilling in the passenger seat, smiling like it's Squid Games, and his name is Incrediboy. Terrible superhero name, by the way. And he really thought he was part of the team whole time, but he was a fanboy from his club, an elite glazer who wants to be his sidekick. Yeah, I'm not sure Ed Sheeran would be a great fit, as Mr. Incredible ejects bro out of the seat and dips without saying a single word.
12 seconds later.
So then Mr. Incredible pulls up on this robber who stole an old woman's purse. Like, I swear some of y'all be the stupidest criminals. Just rob a jewelry store or something. I really don't get it. But then he whips out a pistol only to get headshotted by your wife Elastigirl, and Disney knew exactly what they were doing when they made her character design. But then Shorty lays Buddy out and starts whispering in Mr. Incredible's ear, telling him that they need to work together on some Batman and Robin type timing. Hey, woulda had me folded by the second. But then she leaves the scene, which had my guy thinking that he might risk it all for some milk. That's nobody hypnosis got to, bro. So then Mr. Incredible ties this thug up before seeing the goat Frozone sliding on some ice mid-air so smoothly. He's just so cold. But then out of nowhere, we see a man about to jump off this 50-story building as Buddy hops off the rooftop like he's playing Fortnite, except without a glider, because Mr. Incredible hits a hop, saving dude at the last second, rolling into this building. I know bro got a fractured back just for Mr. Incredible's rod wave-sized body alone, but he puts this civilian to the side before hearing a beeping noise coming from this wall, and it's an explosive as it blows the hell up, seeing the smoke clear as a strange Frenchman emerges holding a luggage of cash. Bon voyage, JUSTCE au barrette. Hey, shout out grade 9 French, that's where I learned that from. Make sure y'all boys are grinding your Duolingo. But then we see Incrediboy come back again. My dog, nobody invited you. And he starts yapping on how he can be useful to Mr. Incredible, knowing the fact that he has 0 superpowers and is just like Batman, a man in a costume. And he tells little boy to fly home. I work alone. It's past your bedtime, buddy. But then Incrediboy starts running out of the building with a bomb that's strapped to his leg. But then Mr. Incredible starts holding bro by the cape, flying mid-air around the city until he finally takes it off as Mr. Incredible drops onto this building. And phew, that was a close call. The day is saved, right? No. Because we see this bomb land on a trail track as it then explodes. And bro, superheroes gotta have the worst luck by far because this train starts coming towards the broken rail. But then Mr. Incredible locks in and starts holding this train back with all of his strength like he's Spider-Man himself, and stops this train in the last second before it drops off the track.
2 seconds later.
So then Mr. Incredible tells the cops to lock up this little thug and juvenile. He almost just cost the life of hundreds of people just because Mr. Incredible didn't want to work with him. But he tells the cops that he'll deal with Bon Voyage later since he's late for his wedding and he can't miss it. And so Buddy immediately speeds off and arrives at this wedding hall as Mr. Incredible enters, and we see our dog Frozone rocking the Super Smash Bros haircut. Lineup is crispy as ever. But this dude starts this proposal, and in the middle of it, Shorty gets pissed at Incredible for not arriving on time. Like bro, it's not his fault he gotta deal with 50 bad guys a day. Just ask Peter Parker, he knows the pain of being late. But then this couple gets announced as husband and wife, and it seems that Mr. Incredible's life is coming together fairly well until disaster strikes.
More moments later.
In a stunning turn of events, this superhero is being sued for saving someone who apparently didn't want to be saved. Wait, hold on a second. You're telling me my dog Mr. Incredible is being sued for not letting someone jump off a building and committing suicide?
Hey, I saved your life!
You didn't save my life, you ruined my death!
Man, shut your...
Like, what was he supposed to do? This is his job, to save people. Like, I swear this lawsuit isn't making a lick of sense to me. He's really suing Mr. Incredible from the injuries that he got from being saved. Like, your brain, it doesn't work. And the situation only gets worse because every single superhero gets filed for lawsuits, which loses the government millions, and they're facing irreparable damages. But I don't blame them at all, because are the Avengers really saving the city when it ends up looking like this? But under immense public pressure, everyone is telling the superheroes to put the capes down and retire for good. News reports say that the government is hiding heroes from the public eye, and they are now officially banned because they're simply safer without them. Well, where are these people now? Well, every superhero is currently living their normal life.
Much later.
We got Mr. Incredible, aka Bob, working his 9 to 5 15 years later, living a completely miserable life at this office job. I'm telling y'all, we gotta lock in before we end up like him. But Bob has officially reached Ankh status cause he got a whole family now and is even moved into a new house. But this old lady from before tells him how she's on a stable income and will become broke real soon, like some of you guys watching this. And Bob, being the real worker that he is, checks if nobody's watching, then hooks her up with some free insurance care advice, even giving out a free refund. And of course, old lady starts fake crying to make sure nobody notices. But then this Kaisen Nat-sized minion walks into Bob's office and starts yelling at bro for not following company policy. Because Bob's been handing out free checks to every family in his neighborhood. Like, this is why I hate the corporate world. Why is a man 5 feet shorter than me trying to boss me around? Like I won't shove you in a locker, bro.
Stop the cap.
But then we pan over to Mrs. Parr at the principal's office, and Dash has been a very naughty boy cause he keeps getting in trouble by his teacher telling Miss Parr that he sneaks in thumbtacks onto his chair when he isn't watching. And they even got 4K footage of Dash dashing around like he's Flash, rage baiting his teacher mid-class. Like, how did they catch you in 4K?
This is 4K! How did they get you in 4K?
But then we get the iconic line.
Coincidence? I think not!
Man, y'all better not give me superpowers like this, cause I would be hating on every single teacher at school.
8 hours later.
So now Bob is coming home from work in this bad traffic. LA and New York can relate, and he's inside of this 1994 crap box. And bro is straight miserable. And now that I think about it, this film was really trying to give us a reality check. But then Bob arrives back home and he almost slips on this skateboard, making a dent in his car. But when bro tries closing the door, the glass shatters and Bob goes mentally insane, lifting up his car with his bare hands, seeing this little kid in the back catch him, and he was perplexed.
Oh my god!
But now Bob and his lovely family are chilling at dinner, having some good eats, until mom snitches on Dash, telling Bob that his son got sent to the principals for using his superhero abilities. And bro was happy for him. Bob is really a W dad for real. If this was an ethnic household, this would be a way different story. But then Dash rage baits her sister, saying her school crush's name out loud at the table, Tony Ridinger, which pisses Violet off, because she pings Dash onto the floor while her head is invisible like she's Sue Storm. But then Dash starts running around smacking Violet in the head repeatedly. But she uses a force field to lay out Dash in an instant. And I can't lie, these are some overpowered abilities she got. But then mom uses her stretchy arms to calm these little kids down, until we see my boy Frozone aka Lucius pull up to the crib, and him and Bob are going for a little bowling night.
A few minutes later.
As both of them then hop into Lucius's car and they start chuckling it up, but ain't nothing to be happy about, cause they hear about a bank robbery nearby on the radio. And Bob obviously wanted to put his powers to use to see if Ankh still got it. But while they drive out, we see a random woman in the back stalking these boys down, and then she starts driving after them. So a few minutes later, there's a building on fire, to which Bob and Lucius try bringing these civilians to safety, but they can't, because Frozone's freezing isn't working and they can't light this fire out. But these two are clearly running out of time, and so they start skedaddling out of there before breaking through this wall. And Brody really took the whole building down. Damn! Like, these two might be the most washed superheroes that I know, like the Unincredible Hulk. Y'all need to retire. Leave it to me, gang. So these two then enter inside of this jewelry store as the alarm then goes off. And Bob and Lucius are in the worst predicament, cause it looks like they're the robbers and it seems like they're holding these civilians at gunpoint. But then these cops barge into the store telling them to freeze, but Frozone starts pouring himself some water. Now I'm surprised that this officer didn't blast 45 bullet holes into Frozone, cause nowadays if you even scratch your neck, you're getting boomed for not following commands. So then Frozone takes a little sip, then proceeds to freeze this officer, and then while the rest of the ops barge into the store, these two have already dipped the scene like they're Houdini, hopping into this car and leaving the crime scene, only to see this lady on the phone trying to recruit these heroes, saying that they might be the perfect fit for the job, like she's Nick Fury.
3:28 a.m.
But then Bob arrives back home trying to act all sneaky, acting like we don't see him. But to Bob's surprise, his wife was spawn camping the entrance this whole time like a Call of Duty noob. And Bob knew he was caught plain in sight, ain't nothing to hide anymore, cause he tries walking it off, but Park grabs him by the shoulder. Hey, is this rubble? It was just a little workout.
Why you always lying?
So yeah, Bob explains how he broke into a whole building and broke it down, and she gets extremely pissed. Like he really didn't have a choice though, cause it was on fire. But then Bob pulls out this banger line saying that he'd rather relive the glory days than acting like they didn't happen. And I feel you, Bob. I wish I could go back to 2019 before COVID-19 ruined all of our lives. Those were the great times.
The next day.
So now Bob is at work again. Just another terrible day. Bro looks like he got zero sleep last night. But his boss Gilbert is not happy with him just cause he's simply helping his customers. Like Kai Cenat, what do you want from me, bro? I would rather work at McDonald's at this point. But while Gilbert is yapping about clocks for whatever reason, we see this goon outside who shoves Bro into this dumpster, and the Superman inside of Bob was not gonna let this slide. There's a man outside who needs help. Hey, look here. Do you think I give a crap?
What did he say?
But then Bob tells him that he'll only take a minute to lay him out. But then Gilbert says, if you walk out, you're fired. And Bob instantly obeys his boss like a good boy. And bro, look at Gilbert, cheesing, knowing the power he had over his employee. And chat, you could just tell that Bob was about to crash out cause the goon got away without being caught. You were this close to losing your job. Hold on, my fault guys.
You were this close to losing your
And Bob hearing the J slur triggered him so much that he starts choking that lights out of Gilbert and then tosses him through this wall. Like dog, what the heck? He really broke through 4 entire walls, had all of his coworkers spooked.
2 hours later.
And Gilbert was in the hospital with about 100 life-threatening injuries. I'm surprised he even survived that beating, if I'm being real with you. And even Bob's own lawyer wasn't rocking with him anymore. He said you're alone from this point on.
Later that same evening.
So then Bob arrives back home per usual, and he opens up this envelope, finding a tablet that starts scanning his face, and it's that same woman from last night named Mirage, who sends him a message saying that this thing called the omnidroid 07 has escaped their facility and they need someone strong like Bob to defeat it. And in return, Bob gets a salary that's paying 3 times higher than his job, and that was all Bob needed to hear. He can finally be a super again while getting money for it? Oh, say less. And so Bob realizes the beauty of unemployment as he starts staring at his wall full of achievements, and he can relive the glory days once again.
The supers aren't gone, Mr. Incredible. You're still here.
But then Bob tells his wife that he's traveling across the ocean for a little job meeting, knowing dang well he just got fired for brutally assaulting his boss yesterday. But yeah, let's keep it a secret for now.
This is Mr. Incredible. I'm in.
24 hours later.
So Mirage starts telling Bob important details about the omnidroid 9000, saying that this robot can adapt to its opponent's fighting style like it's Maharaga, and that is designed to learn everything about you. But Mirage tells him that he needs to disable the robot and not destroy it, since it costs millions to make. And so Bob gets ready to get deployed into Tilted Towers. And so Bob hops out of the plane and he starts flying down to this volcano island as Bob then arrives into the forest, running for a while before he gets ambushed by the omnidroid 9000. And oh nah, this thing is terrifying. It's about 50 times larger than Rod Wave, which I didn't know was possible. So then Bob hits a wave, but then gets his arm sliced a bit, and he realizes that this ain't gonna be easy. But Bob hits a Mario hop and then proceeds to smash ChatGPT in his face. But that was just a little warm warm up because the robot rushes in as Bob tries jumping over it, but the omnidroid already got the moveset downloaded because he swats bro away like a fly. But then Bob starts playing Temple Run with the robot as it starts hawking him down, and I can't lie, for a 50-year-old man, he's kinda moving right now. But then Buddy drops down onto this cliff as ChatGPT starts tossing rocks at Bob, eventually hitting him, but he hits a weave. And Bob starts booking it as he then drops down near this volcano, and Bob was seconds away from being devoured by the fire as he uses his manpower to swing ChatGPT into the lava. And Bob started celebrating a bit too early because the omnidroid rises back up and he pulls out these dual blades as Bob hops onto this rock, but the robot really said, "Come here, Bob!" slapping Bob against the floor, but then the robot starts stretching him out like how Galactus was doing to Mr. Fantastic. But the robot fixes Bob's back pain and he started locking in cause he hides underneath ChatGPT's head, then yoinks it right off as Bob enters the robot, and Brody starts tweaking out, hitting himself over and over again. But Bob finally succeeds, shutting down the Omnidroid 9000, and turns out Mirage was stalking that whole fight, so she knew that Bob had that dog in him.
One shift later.
So then Bob travels back home to his family, and Buddy is living the good life, spending time with his wife and kids, and Bob is even stacking up some bread, buying a new Lamborghini.
Life is good. You know what I mean?
Bob is really entering his prime, getting fit again, working out repeatedly, day in and day out, dragging freight trains, lifting up thousands of pounds like he's Mark Grayson, getting into prime superhero shape. That training is really no joke. Cecil really had bro lifting up glaciers. Superheroes be out there doing anything just to get stronger.
8 hours later.
So then Bob pulls up on an old friend.
Sir, where's your identity?
Come in, no need to worry.
And so Bob gets welcomed by this lady named Edna, and she basically used to make suits for the supers back in her day. And of course, Bob needs his outfit stitched back up. And Bob somehow convinces her to design him a new fit from scratch and also fix his old suit that was scratched up from the fight. But Edna accepts this offer only under one condition: no capes are allowed. And y'all may ask why. Every superhero needs one, right? But nah, because Edna tells us a tale about Thunderhead. This man really got his cape snagged on by a missile and was never seen since that day. And she tells us about Strata Girl. She got done the absolute worst cause her cape got stuck inside of a jet turbine and she got turned into shredded cheese. But yeah, to sum it all up, wearing a cape is extremely bad luck in this world. I mean, just look at what happened to Superman. I wouldn't have a cape either unless I'm playing Minecraft.
The next day.
So then Mirage assigns Mr. Incredible to a new mission, and look at bro's new suit. He's dripped out head to toe right now, I can't lie. Edna was in the lab straight cooking, bro. But anywho, we see Par, and while she's cleaning Bob's room, she finds an old suit of his and sees the new stitching on it, and Par immediately knew bro was up to something behind her back. And so Par obviously calls up Edna like an insecure ex, and she asks her if she fixed Bob's suit, but Edna completely ignores Par and tells her to come in when she has some time. So while Bob is waiting in the conference room for his next assignment, out of nowhere, he gets jump scared by this omnidroid who snatches Bob up and tosses him onto the island like a baby. And ChatGPT really starts disrespecting him, treating bro like a ragdoll until he holds Bob up about to slice him into pieces. And chat, I was just sitting here confused, cause didn't I just take down this omnidroid like 2 days ago? And now I got a crackhead Ed Sheeran that's talking crazy to my face? Like, dog, who even are you? But wait, hold on guys, I know that ain't who I think it is. This guy is Mr. Incredible's biggest fan, Incrediboy, who's come back years later to haunt Bob for betraying him when he was younger. All I wanted to do was work for you, but instead you tore me apart. I used to look up to you.
We do not care.
And Mr. Incredible really created the most notorious villain in DreamWorks history, Syndra. how are you gonna get mad at Mr. Incredible? He just wanted to work alone, and now Syndrome is just straight up hating, cause this psychopath starts flinging Bob around like a tennis ball, and then bro just casually tosses Bob all the way into the water. Like me personally, I wouldn't take that level of disrespect. So then Mr. Incredible hits the Lion King jumping off this waterfall, and he dives straight into the river. But this man's Syndrome is actually petty because he throws this explosive into the water, and Bob starts swimming away immediately. Like bro, Syndrome is really trying to kill this man, but Bob barely survives, escaping through this hole. But here's where the lore gets even crazier, cause he finds a dead skeleton of GAZERBEAM just chilling here in the cave, the same super that was gone missing at the start of the film. This man's Syndrome is really King Von. But then Syndrome's drones tries tracking Mr. Incredible, but bro had an elite hiding spot, and so Syndrome got no reading from Mr. Incredible, so he assumes that he's been eliminated.
Are you sure about that?
And look at how happy this rascal got when he heard the news. He's gotta be one of the most unreasonable crash outs of all time. I do not care.
A few inches later.
But then Par arrives at Edna's laboratory where she pours her some tea, and Edna shows her that she's already been working on some prototypes for the kids. Because Jack's suit can resist fire, which can withstand about 1,000 degrees, and is also bulletproof from any weapon. Like bro!
What on earth do you think the baby will be doing?
And then Dash's suit can travel at high speeds without causing a tornado or any types of fires. And Par's daughter, Violet, her suit is actually insane because she can turn invisible completely. And lastly, Par's suit is extremely stretchable and is basically indestructible from rockets and explosives. Hey, I can't lie though, Edna is a W suit maker. She was really in her basement like Tony Stark, making fits day and night.
Later, in the void.
But then we pan over to Mr. Incredible, and he's still in enemy territory. He cannot get caught lacking in S-block. And so he jumps off of this cliff, landing on a palm tree, and he catches this vehicle right in time, taking out this guard, then snatching the other one out into the water. RIP to bro, he was just doing his job. But then Bob takes over this ride by himself, and he sees a bunch of NPCs guarding this gate. But Bob uses his 200 IQ to toss this vehicle right at them and straight lays these two out. They most definitely got ISO speed levels of brain damage right now. But then Bob sneaks right in, and now he's gotta deal with these three guards right here. As Bob uses this coconut and clocks bro right in the head, had that guard shaking like he's a backup dancer. Death to coconut is insane. But this distracts the other two guards, which allows for Mr. Incredible to enter this little garage, and so he easily makes his way into the building, bypassing all the security guards. But out of nowhere, Mirage almost catches Bob, but he luckily hides behind this object before rushing straight into the secret lair at the very last second.
Moments later.
So then Bob hops into this chair and he somehow guesses the password right, and now he's logged in and has access to the entire island. But here's where Bob finds the dark truth about what happened to the supers. A mass murder mission called Project Kronos, created by Syndrome himself. And Bob sees how these supers were all eliminated by the omnidroids, and Syndrome wanted to be the only superhero left by killing off others in the name of justice. Like bro, you are not a superhero, you're just straight up evil. But chat, let me introduce y'all to the hidden lore of the Incredibles, the NSA files. Now let me start with our first super. He has so much aura, he doesn't even have a single lick of screen time, yet everybody on Earth is glazing him. Gamma Jack. Now this super isn't really a superhero, he's just a straight up menace, because I just want y'all to hear this man's backstory for yourself.
So, I take a look around, I see if there's any good-looking women who need to be rescued immediately, and then I sort of start from there and work my way down the list. You know, if you've got Tubby Joe Schmo over there with a laser pointed at his head, then he might have to wait in line a little while.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
So Gamma Jack will only save attractive looking people, and so basically if you don't look like handsome Squidward, you're dying. He truly believes that if you're built like Rod Wave or a Lizzo, you're not important to anyone. I mean, Jack Gamma is literally the Disney Homelander. He's so overpowered that he can shoot lasers from over 100 meters and will still disintegrate you. Like from what I'm seeing, Gamma Jack might be the secret villain all along. Maybe Syndrome wasn't the bad guy. But chat, most importantly, let's talk about the tragic tale of GAZERBEAM. Now this man's life was truly depressing, and I just want y'all to hear the pain in my man's voice.
People tend to think it's a real picnic to have eyes that shoot lasers, but believe it or not, it's had its disadvantages.
So GAZERBEAM not only couldn't live a normal life due to his laser beams, which burned his eyes bursting into straight flames, because whenever he looked at something so intensely, it would shoot on command, making women scared of his superpowers, something he couldn't even control. Like GAZERBEAM really died alone in a dark cave. It can't get much worse than this. I better see an RIP GAZERBEAM in my comment section right now. But chat, let me now move on to our next super named PYSCHWAVE. And this woman is truly diabolical, because put on your earphones and take a listen.
I had a crush on the quarterback of the football team, who was also my best friend's boyfriend. I PYSCHWAVed him into asking me to the homecoming dance and breaking up with Shelly.
You what? I mean, hearing PYSCHWAVE's backstory actually gives me chills down my body, knowing that she can mentally possess anyone that she desires, like she's Wanda. Dog, you are a psychopath. I'm starting to think you deserve to die after all.
15 minutes later.
But then Mr. Incredible finds about the final stage of Project Kronos and how an omnidroid will travel to Earth in about 8 hours and destroy everything, causing mass destruction. So now Mr. Incredible gotta escape this island in time, or else he might be cooked. But then we switch over to Edna, and she shows Par a tracking device showing her that his husband Bob is stuck on a remote island by himself. But then this absolute buffoon, Par, presses the button which alerts the entire facility, and so a bunch of weapons pull out, aimed directly at Bob. And they start shooting black balls at him one by one, but Bob said he's out of there and starts running for his life while getting attacked by these projectiles which start holding him down. And Bob is finished. He is done for, because Mirage then pulls up and finds him laying on the floor, and it's good game just like that.
20 minutes later.
So then the family hops on a plane with their new suits that were made from Edna, and they're trying to save Bob, who's held hostage by Syndrome, and he keeps zapping Buddy over and over again, asking Mr. Incredible who he sent a signal to save him. But then Bob is like, "Are you dumb, little boy? I didn't contact anyone." Like they were straight torturing Bob for something he ain't even do. But then Syndrome hears Bob's wife on the radio, and he sends her a little greeting, and not a nice one, because we see 2 homing missiles rushing directly at the plane. And so Par starts flying the plane in every which direction, trying to avoid these missiles. And Shorty gotta be the worst pilot I've done ever seen. If Par is ever my pilot, I'm simply hopping off the plane. And this man Syndrome is straight up nefarious, hearing that there's kids on the plane, and he's still letting the missiles chase after them. Like, I wonder how he pulled Mirage, bro. But then the plane explodes into straight flames, and these 3 start falling into the Pacific Ocean. But Par locks in, grabbing the kids, and uses her body to create a parachute, which saves them as they land into the water safely. So then Mirage says that they have a confirmed hit on the family, and that they're all dead. And this enraged Mr. Incredible so much that he grabs Mirage and tells Syndrome to release him before he crushes her like a grape. And Buddy really started talking like he's Batman. "I'll break her apart like a toothpick." Like, bro, we all know that you don't have that dog in you. But then Syndrome doubles down like the villain that he is, and he's like, "Do it then."
Oh, hell
But of course, Mr. Incredible folds like the good guy that he is, even when he has nothing to lose. He's a better man than me. But then the family make a makeshift boat using their superpowers, and they eventually make their way onto this island that Bob is on right now. But mom tells the kids to stay in this cave while she goes to rescue Bob on her own. Because, you know, they're kids and it's too dangerous for them to come.
5 minutes later.
So then Par sneaks onto mainland without being noticed, and she uses her arms to grapple onto this vehicle, and she starts swinging around like a monkey. But these two guards driving must have had their headset volume on 0, because Par eventually makes it into this tunnel before almost getting crushed like Flat Stanley. But then as more security guards pass by, she decides to hide on this rooftop, and at this point, Par is just playing hide and seek with these goons. But Par sells the bag heavily, getting her leg stuck in this door, but Par uses her stretchy body to extend herself, trying to grab the key card, but this NPC right here catches Par. And so she hits a double smackaroo, grabs this gun, chin smack, and elbows the other guard. But this dude finally closes the door, thinking that it's gonna help, except that he gets laid out in a second. Man, y'all guards better pray that footage was not on the security cams, because that was absolutely embarrassing. So then these two thugs right here catch Par, and so she kicks bro in the face, making him spaz out on the floor, shooting the lock, which unlocks this door. As she then knocks out 2 more NPCs with ease. Like, bro, Par is really out there cooking. Syndrome must have hired these guards straight off of Temu, cause I'm 99% sure even some of y'all could do a better job than this. So then Par uses the key card to open these 2 doors before grabbing this poor goon and hiding his body to make sure there's no evidence.
Moments later.
But in the meantime, we see Project Kronos about to take off, and Dash, who's roaming around in the cave like it's Minecraft, gets a warm welcome from the rocket, which is about to burn him alive. And so Dash grabs Violet and they get the hell out of there immediately, making it outside before seeing the rocket blast out of the volcano. And now the omnidroid is on its way to this poor city.
Help me! Help me!
But then we pan over to Mr. Incredible, who's getting saved by Mirage and is finally free from Syndrome's shackles. But then Bob turns into Batman, grabbing her by the neck and starts talking in his fake deep voice.
Talk, or you won't be walking anywhere.
Like, gang, you are not scaring anyone with that villainous look on your face. Hey bro, chill! Your family is still alive. And so Bob puts her down while she's gasping for air. Hey, y'all think Mr. Incredible would have murdered everyone on the island if she ain't tell him? Let me know.
Yes.
But while Bob is hugging Mirage, his wife Par walks in on them at the literal worst moment, and Mirage catches a mean left just for laying hands on Bob. Hey, that's a W wife right there, I can't lie. So then Mirage says that the kids are in danger, and bro, she was not lying, cause we see Dash and Violet start running for their lives, and Buddy starts going a good 500 miles per hour. He's never ran this fast in his life. But these guards were on straight demon timing, trying to kill a little kid for no reason. Syndra must be paying them good, cause ain't no way you're hunting down a 6-year-old for fun. But while Dash is running, he uses his vine to swing himself high into the air like he's Tarzan, as Dash then lands on this NPC, hitting 3 consecutive weaves like he's Ultra Instinct Goku. You can't catch me! And Dash just starts toying around with this guard as he spams a bunch of punches, knocking the shades off of Buddy. But the guard said your playtime is over as he Falcon punches Dash before this dude gets killed on impact. RIP Bozo, you will not be missed. So then Dash keeps getting chased around, and so he lunges onto this tree, managing to explode this guard.
Damn!
but these dudes on his right and left were on his tailbone getting ready to jump him. But then Dash sees this water and he gets scared knowing that he might drown. The whole time bro was running on the water, and this had Dash geeked knowing that nobody could stop him as the goons miss literally every shot that they take where their stormtrooper aim. But then Dash enters this little cave, breaking Buddy's ankles. Give that guy a map. But now Dash gets sandwiched by these guards, and so he goes underwater, making them collide like the dumb idiots that they are. But then we pan over to Violet, and she's using her invisibility hacks to hit a 3-piece combo on this NPC before getting swiped away. As Violet starts getting shot at with a rifle while she's hiding in the water, but then Dash speeds right in, hitting bro to the floor, and then Dash starts going to work on this guard before getting punched away. And this psychopath was really about to shoot a little kid.
Stop it. Get some help.
But then Violet saves Dash with her force field that's literally indestructible as they both start dashing away as Violet one-taps both of the drones like it's some breakfast. Then they suddenly run into mom and dad as the family finally get reunited. But hey, don't get too happy cause the guards then pull up and start surrounding them. But then Bob smacks bro onto the ground as Park grabs this man, slamming him into another, and then Bob starts swinging this drone and blows Buddy up. And the Incredibles gotta be the coldest Disney superheroes, cause look at this fire pose that they hit. That's going straight on the ground. So then Dash starts running circles around them, making a sandstorm, and Violet blocks these bullets as Park puts these two to sleep. But then Bob smacks bro onto the ground and then right hook from Park. But of course, they get caught off guard by Syndrome, who starts electrocuting these four, and Buddy starts hating, asking Bob how he pulled Elastigirl. But hey, that's a good question. I'm wondering the same thing. But then Syndrome puts these guys into his little prison, and he proceeds to rage bait Bob while he's unable to move. Like I promise, unshackle me and we'll see if you keep that same energy.
11 minutes later.
So then we see this omnidroid fighting against the army, and they're getting straight cooked. They really got this live on the news, and the guards are really popping champagne like they just won the NBA finals. But then we switch over to the family, and Violet finally frees all of them as they start booking it before Syndrome catches word of their escape. And so Bob spots this RV van with guards that are inside as Buddy hops in and knocks them all out in about 5 seconds. But Bob is like, hey, how are we gonna get to mainland? And so Mirage, being a W, gives them the password to the ship. But then we switch over to my goat Frozone, and he's finally getting some screen time, seeing a complete war going on outside. And he commands his wife to hand him the super suit.
What? Where's my super suit? What? Where is my super suit?
He said it! He said it! So then we see Syndrome trying to be a fake superhero fighting against his own robot as if we're supposed to believe this is real. But then the Omnidroid detects Syndrome's fake drip and the robot starts shooting at him, activating friendly fire. This man Syndrome is so lame that even his own creation turned against him. But then we switch over to the family and they're somehow flying mid-air while Bob is in the RV van. I know Par's arms and legs are on life support right now, holding everything together. So then Bob prepares for landing as he lands onto the highway, weaving and dodging traffic like it's his first time driving. Like, dog, someone take away Bob's driving license. He's a threat on the road. But then Bob evades traffic for a little longer before hitting the brakes and completely crashing the RV, making it roll over repeatedly. Like, how are none of them injured right now? And how are y'all smiling after that? What are their bones made of? Vibranium?
Me bomba!
So the ChatGPT starts tweaking out on the family, but Violet uses her shield to cover Dash as the droid then shatters the protection. They really had Violet hitting that Caleb City pose, someone calling the ambulance and get her on that stretcher ASAP. But then Dash almost gets crushed as Bob starts holding the Omnidroid up, using every ounce of strength in his body. But then Bob gets caught lacking, grabbed, and then thrown away like a football straight into this office building. But Bob then spins the block on ChatGPT, pushing him to the ground. But then we see Frozone start icing up the roads, freezing both of its arms before getting tossed into a car. But then Bob gets slammed into this wall, and I can't lie, this omnidroid is going crazy right now. They need to call up Invincible or something. So while Frozone is freezing ChatGPT and Par is running away, we see Bob find the remote that was controlling the omnidroid this whole time, and he celebrates a bit too early, getting squashed by the robot, and he gets held up in the air. But then Bob releases the arm, falling onto the ground as Dash yells at Bob to throw the remote to him, and he does, tossing it over, and Brody turns it to Patrick Mahomes, catching the remote somehow. But then this laser beam starts shooting at Dash, and so Par uses his sewer head to fling it right at the robot, disabling his gun. But then Frozone grabs Dash, and he starts moving on the ice so angelically. Bro needs his own movie at this point, but ChatGPT jumps on them, creating a massive tsunami. But Frozone clutches up, freezing the water, which gives Dash a soft landing. So right as Bob starts chasing after the remote, ChatGPT uses its arms and snatches Buddy up, moving him away from the action. And so Frozone freezes the floor, making the robot slip around, and then Par uses her body to trip him onto the floor, and the omnidroid is getting the JJK treatment, getting attacked from every single angle. But then Violet grabs the remote while she's invisible, and she starts pressing random buttons, but it somehow works, making ChatGPT crash right into this building. But bro ate that attack up like some Chinese food, and so Bob comes up with a game plan, and he knows that the only way to stop the droid is to make it attack itself. And so Bob starts holding the arm up while Frozone starts creating ice barriers to buy the family some time. But then Par finally presses the button, allowing for Bob to hit a direct shot on ChatGPT, making a perfect hole through its chest. And just like that, the Incredibles have finally defeated the omnidroid as the city starts celebrating, and now Bob is finally back to reliving the glory days.
Soon after.
So while Par is on the phone, she hears that Jack is in trouble, and when the Incredibles pull up to their house, we see Syndrome holding the baby captive in his hands like the evil little guy that he is. But then Syndrome breaks the roof and makes his escape while the baby is crying for his life. And here's where Jack unlocks superpowers, cause he starts turning into random stuff, which starts scaring Syndrome. But then Jack starts dropping down as Bob uses Par as a weapon, tossing her towards Syndrome, performing a perfect save on Jack. But here's where Syndrome goes out sad, because Bob throws a car, making him fall right into the plane turbine, and this is exactly why Edna said no capes, because he gets... And now the Incredibles gotta deal with another enemy, but I'ma have to save that story for next time. 5k likes and I'll cover Incredibles 2 immediately. I'm out. Peace.